what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the podcast. Man, I tell you what, this is a real life podcast right now because in this world that we're living in, the government is currently shut down. A lot of government contractors are out of work, including today's guest. But, you know, and we laugh, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
and
gotta do what you gotta do.
there are some people that would just they're sitting at home right now. They're not working and they're just kind of not doing much. But hey, not Brandon. Brandon is going to start a business. He's like, I have enough time. I'm going to make this happen. So I said, let's actually hash this out on a podcast.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So Brandon Moore.
What's going on, everybody? Thanks for having me.
Let's go, man. Welcome to the show. An Old Bel Air High School graduate.
Yes.
Class of
2011. Go Bobcats.
2011. Go Bobcats. His wife, Lindsay, too, graduated from Bel Air.
Yep. Still in the school system.
Still in the school system. Actually was one of my daughter's teachers.
Yes.
So it's like, it came full circle. And great family. Got two kids, two beautiful kids. You know, of course, they bought their house and sold their house.
Of course.
With the Markland advantage.
Of course.
Got to plug the real estate in there every once in a while. But we're not here to talk about real estate. Well, sort of. We are. But
Yeah.
But yeah, welcome to the show, man.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So let's talk about your government job just real quick. Just give everybody a little bit of background, a little bit of perspective. What do you do for the government? Unless you can't tell me,
Sure.
You have to kill me. But,
yeah. I don't know what the level, the extent of things that I can talk about or can't, but I can at least give enough information to kind of put into perspective how it at least affected me. So I'm not a federal employee. I don't work for the government. Okay. I know that, all the federal employees that, we do know. I know many of us, I hit the mic. Many of us know federal employees who are furloughed right now. And so they're either at home, and there's also plenty of them that are still at work, but just not getting their payment yet until the furlough ends. So scary for them. For a while, for me and the people around me, it was okay because I'm just a contractor. So I'm a contractor through the government.
You're not just a contractor.
Yeah, I'm just a contractor. And so our contract, was still paid for, so it didn't affect me until we got to a certain point where our contract lapsed. And typically what would happen is a contract would, be renegotiated. They might pick somebody else for the contract. None of that was happening because the people who do that are furloughed. They're not in the office. So because the contract ends, now I'm technically out of work there, but my company's been great. They have been working with me over the past week. They've been giving me some work to do. But once this week ends, there's the very real chance that I'll be on leave without pay moving forward until something gets figured out. So now I know that we did just hear that hopefully things are coming to an end.
Yeah, I was at the gym this morning, and when I looked up, there was some kind of banner headline at the bottom of it, whether it was CNN or Fox News, not sure who it was, but they had said that the government has come to an agreement, the Democrats, the Republicans, whatever that is, but who knows?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I'm the worst. I don't pay attention to it that well.
Right.
But my understanding is it's been approved in all places that it needs to be approved.
Okay. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're back to work in the contract right away, right?
Correct. Because I imagine whoever manages that, who controls that, is going to come back to a lot of work they have to catch up on.
Right.
So I would hope that maybe we're at the top of that list. But we'll see. I have no idea.
Gosh, what a show!
It is. It is wild. It is wild. And to all of you federal employees that might be watching this, my heart goes out to you. I know this is scary for everybody. So there's been a lot of people without for the past 43 days. I think it's been.
Is it 43 days 43, now? And it's been the longest time that the government's been shut down.
Yep. So if you're out there and you're struggling, hopefully this is ending soon. But stick with it. You got a lot of people out there rooting for you.
There you go. There's the pep talk for the day, and that's all for today, ladies and gentlemen. Just kidding. All right. So, of course, you could have accepted what's happening and do nothing about it. But you have genuinely started a business, and you've actually, really, this is not an idea anymore. This is going to be official. So, kudos to you. You've always had an entrepreneurial type mindset. You
appreciate that.
You've done different woodworking businesses. You used to make welcome home boards for our clients.
I will say I did love that. If anyone that watches this was a part of me having fun with that little side gig that I did there. I loved it
Yeah.
for a while.
For a while.
The reason I stopped wasn't because it wasn't working. It was because I actually started to lose the excitement in my woodworking there. I was wasn't doing stuff for me anymore.
Yeah.
So, that's
But you
kind
got
of
a nice, you got a nice little shop set up in your garage.
Yeah.
I mean, you're really skilled at what you do.
Appreciate it. Yeah,
man.
Yeah, I do love it. I do.
Yeah, and then we did talk about that you do some social media content as well, as it revolves around Dungeons and Dragons. Which,
and we'll actually get into that a little bit here.
We will geek out on that a little bit. So,
I brought some stuff.
There's no judgment here, okay? There's no judgment. Okay. So, but you are starting a business now. So, in a nutshell, what is this business that you're starting?
Sure. So the business name is Odorless. I don't know if you can see it here on my little machine, but the business name is Odorless, and it is using ozone generators, which is what this machine is, to generate a ton of ozone in a space, whether that be a home, vehicle, boats, any kind of space that has an odor to it that's organically based. The ozone reacts with that organic material, breaks it down, and you get rid of that odor in that manner. So it's a little bit different than some of the cleaners and such that might mask the odor, something that you might spray that covers it up. This actually breaks down that molecule. It's on a molecular level. It breaks it down. And just prevents it from actually making that odor anymore.
And so what's the percentage of effectiveness for this?
Depending on what it is, how long we leave it in, so to be honest, I've only done one vehicle so far as I've gotten my machines in. And it was my parents' vehicle. I did it to theirs. We do live in a family that has some smokers there. So it was a very smoked-in vehicle. I tried it out, and I actually just got the call from her yesterday. All is good. The smoke is gone. So
I've heard that some of these things are like 99.9% effective.
Sure.
So, I mean,
and like I said, it all depends on what you're attacking. But your typical organic odors are going to be your smoke smells, your pet odors like dander or even urine, and then other smells would include, maybe if you've got a cooked smell, you overcooked something, which again might lead into that smoke smell. Mold and mildew is one. So if it's just the odor, it'll attack that. The problem you run into is if you don't get rid of the source. This is not a preventative maintenance type thing. This is a get rid of what's there. So if you go back in the house and you smoke again, or if you don't get rid of the water intrusion, I know you probably know all about water intrusion in the basement. If you don't get rid of that, that odor will come back.
You have to get to the source and eliminate the source. I'm just thinking about past clients that I've had that have had like smoke smells in the house, which is a huge deterrent. Which if you look, I'm not telling you if to smoke or not smoke or whatever, but if you're trying to sell a home and there's that odor that's in either the carpets or the drywall, or it's going to take down your property value. It's a turn off by most people.
And I've heard high percentages. I'm not going to pretend to know the answer to that.
Right.
I've heard that it's a pretty steep percentage that you'll lose out if your house has any kind of serious odor like that. So.
And I had one buyer that certain types of cultural food, like Indian food, is cooked with curry, and that smell can be offensive to some people. Maybe not all people, but for some, whatever. The ability to get, like you said, dogs and cats. I mean, those are common feedbacks that when buyers are coming through homes that we get as listing agents is that those odors. So if there's something that we can do, that, eliminate that objection, gosh, oh my God, you could save thousands of dollars. I mean, I'm talking like 10,000, 20,000, who knows?
And that's where I've heard upwards of 30% you could lose out just from a pretty intense smoke smell. The smoke alone, that's what I read up on. 30%, which if you think about the price of homes these days, that's a large amount of money. So either being able to list your house for higher by getting rid of that odor, or buy one for cheaper and get rid of the odor later. It could help on both ends.
And as a buyer coming into a house, maybe you're not as hesitant to purchase the house because of the smoke smell if we know that there's a fix that we can if we can do. Okay, so you're thinking about starting a business. Some people think of consultation. Some people think about a lemonade stand or selling baseball cards. I don't know. What on God's green earth did you think? How did you even come up with this idea?
So a friend of mine, another Bel Air boy, Kyle Hergesheimer. I know he would love me shouting him out
What's
here.
up?
So when they bought their home, it had a smoke smell to it. They had done everything. They replaced the carpets. They painted. did a lot of work to the house, and the smell was still there.
Oof.
And so they reached out, I believe, to their, I can't remember who they reached out to, or whether it was their realtor or whoever it was. But they said, we don't know for sure, but let's reach out to this fire restoration company, see if they have a way of getting rid of it. And so he said that whoever that company was, I'm not sure, they came out. He said, it's like, beat up car. It came out, this little machine. He didn't even know what it was. And the guy just said, hey, you got to leave for a little while. We'll take care of it. So he said he put this machine in. It ran for a few hours. And then he came back later when they said it was all clear. And so Kyle was telling me this story in my first time being in his home. And I stopped him. I was like, if you didn't tell me this story, I never would have known there was smoke in this house. You couldn't smell.
You couldn't smell it at all.
I would not have known.
And you know this smell of smoke.
Oh, absolutely.
People in your family.
100%. Yeah. And you know what it is when you smell it. And I told him, I was like, I had no idea. So that piqued my curiosity. I wanted to know what machine he used. I wanted to know the science behind what was happening, just because it was so interesting. You always hear these odors, you can't get rid of them.
Yep.
And someone did. So I went home, I started looking it up. How does the science work? And there's a lot of chemistry to it. I'm not a chemist, but the science is there, and it's very interesting. And so I can go over that a little bit.
I was going to say, great segue.
Sure.
Wow, have you done this podcasting before? Jeez.
Not necessarily.
You know where to go.
It's fun. So
let's talk about,
let's do it.
An elementary education
of
science.
That's about what I have. Let's do it. So what happens is inside this machine, it uses electricity and it creates something called a corona discharge. And that's essentially just a weave of electricity that the outside air comes through. Okay. When it comes through, we all are breathing in to oxygen. Okay. It's an oxygen molecule with 2 oxygens to it. And so when it comes through, it breaks apart a bunch of those into just single oxygen atoms. Molecules. See, I don't know.
There you go.
So it breaks it into the single oxygen, and that wants to bind with something. And so it binds with the rest of the O2 that doesn't get broken apart, and it creates O3. And that is ozone. Ozone is a very reactive material. That third oxygen does not want to stay with O2. It wants to go somewhere else. And so what it will do is it will find organic materials, and it will release that oxygen and bind with that organic material, essentially changing the structure of that molecule. That's what breaks it down into something different than what was causing the odor. Whether that be in the air or on the walls, couches, whatever it is, binds to that, changes its literal molecular structure to something that's not making a smell anymore. And so you load a home with this ozone. It reacts with everything. It gets to places where you're not going to be able to wipe down or spray.
Okay.
You turn on your ventilation, get it going through the vents,
right,
and it's going to break down all that organic material. Now, ozone itself has a smell. And so the way that you can describe that, the way I've heard it described, and I would agree, is very sterile. Kind of like if you were to go into a hospital, you kind of smell a sterile, clean smell.
Yeah.
That scent sticks around for a couple days.
Okay.
And then that will eventually be replaced by whatever odor you either produce on your own, or you light some candles, or you put some odors in the house yourself. That will replace it, because now you've gotten rid of the bad odors. You can make your own. So, science in a nutshell.
That was a pretty good explanation.
Yeah, there's a lot more happening, I'm sure.
I actually followed that pretty well.
Good. Yeah. Because that's about the best I understand it. So
So when you're talking about this odor, the smell of sterileness, maybe bleach, or but not as potent as bleach.
Yeah. Because definitely, I guess you could get kind of like a chlorine kind of scent to it. Okay. I know that 2 people now, that being my wife and either my mom or my dad, I forget which one said it, but they immediately said lemon. I disagree with the lemon because I don't smell it. Okay. But that's 2 people against 1 that immediately said lemon when they smelled it.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's a weird smell that I wouldn't say it's a bad smell, but it's not, I don't know, you wouldn't want your house to stay that way. So it does go away. It dissipates after a little while.
Okay.
So that's just it going away.
And so I think I know the answer to this question, but certainly people would want to ask you this. Is this going to be safe for my pets? Is this going to be safe for my children?
Sure.
Or do I need to move everybody out during this process?
Yeah. So high levels of ozone, definitely not safe to breathe in. Humans, dogs, plants, it is not safe to breathe it in. This will only be done in vacated spaces. And that is when we would start a job, one of the things that they would have to do is sign off on a service agreement, part of which ensures nobody will be in this house when this happens. And that includes, like, for instance, I know when someone's buying a home or selling a home, you have a lot of things going on. People checking the home out. Maybe you have contractors coming in doing some work beforehand. you have to make sure that none of that's happening during the process.
Interesting.
The process isn't too long, which is good. Depending on the size of the house, it can take anywhere from 2 hours to maybe 8 if you have a really big house with a really big odor.
But this is like a one day.
Yes. You do it. You do it for that amount of time. It would take me a little time to set it up, and then after the service, you do want to let that ozone go away, which includes, opening doors and windows, ventilating the home out.
Okay.
The ozone does break down. It has a very short half-life, which is about 20 to 30 minutes, and they recommend every hour that you run it, you wait 2 hours, unless you open the windows and doors and ventilate it. So if you were to just leave it, you would wait 2 hours for every hour that you run it. But we can actually get it emptied out anywhere from maybe to like 45 minutes to an hour. And then I have a meter that I will bring in there and kind of test everything, make sure the ozone's out of the home before I would accept anybody going back into it.
And how long am I going to be out of my house for?
Sure. So let's just say you had a 4-hour service. I could see, it takes me about an hour to set everything up. We'll get it all good to go. We'll turn the machines on. I secure the home. We all leave it for that 4 hours. We come back. I'll open up the doors. So I have some box fans and stuff that move the air around, make sure it's hitting everywhere.
Yep.
We open the doors and the windows up. I move those fans so it's pushing the air out of the home. Maybe another hour after that, I'll go in, check with the meter, make sure it's empty. And if that's the case, as long as it is, I'll get my stuff out of your way, and it is all yours.
And you're back in your house. Same day.
You're back.
Basically, same day.
Same day. So you'll be back in, and then as long as, you don't go back in smoking with a cigarette the second you walk into the house or something like that, the odor should be gone, and that ozone should be gone in about, that ozone scent. The ozone will be gone, but you still have the scent of the service that kind of sticks around.
Yeah.
That should be gone in about a day or two.
A day or two.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, yeah, it's a very interesting process. I do, just like I said, I dove into the science. I thought it was super cool.
Yeah.
So.
I like it.
Yeah, I do too.
All right. I would hope so. All right, so you brought some things with you.
I did.
So we actually, it's kind of like show and tell, right?
Yes.
So what can I experience right now?
Sure.
What you got cooking there?
So let me preface this real quick. We mentioned Dungeons and Dragons earlier. Tim, you're gonna have to take Tim and I's word for it. He has no idea what I brought. I haven't had him look at these or anything.
I have no idea.
So I'm a big I'm on TikTok all the time. And
Yes.
I was perusing through and I found a person who was giving away TikTok stuff. Not giving it away, you still had to buy it. But he was done, not TikTok, I'm sorry, Dungeons and Dragons stuff.
Oh, okay.
He was giving away Dungeons and Dragons
TikTok
stuff. He was like, I'm done with the hobby if anybody wants this stuff. And he had some really cool 80s books from like the original Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, if you know that second edition. That's crazy. And he was selling them for a really low price.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking about.
But he was a smoker. So the books came to me and they smelled very smoky. So I'm going to pull out 2 books. I have 6 books total.
Okay.
I've treated 3 of them and I have not treated the other 3.
Interesting.
And I'm going to see if you can figure out which ones were treated.
Are they in the same bag?
They are not. I have them separated.
I was going to say, if they're in the same bag, there could be a stench.
I'm really hoping that they didn't kind of leach over. So we'll see. My dad couldn't smell too well. He wasn't able to do it, but my wife and my mom were able to do it. So
Okay. All right.
So I'll pull out 2.
And we're talking smoke now, because I can't smell dog smell that well.
These are smoke smells here, and they're stuck in the bag.
Okay. Boy.
So we'll start with these 2.
This is our first show and tell on the show,
I'm going to give you this one. You can go ahead and smell it. I would say open it up. And let the
Yeah.
pages go
This
through.
is Tales from the Yawning Portal, whatever.
And I will say that one is a 5th edition book. If you're seeing that and you're like, that's not 80s, it's not. So
There is a smell to it, but
there's a smell to it.
it smells kind of clean, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And
All
then
right.
I'll give you this one.
Then we have Fizbin's Treasury of Dragons.
So another 5th edition book. So I know I said 80s, but if anyone's watching this, they played it before.
Yeah. Yep, this is the smoke one. And you can even tell on the colors of the pages of it. It's just like this.
Sure.
Yeah, this is the smoke
Yeah,
one.
it is. It is. And so all of it smelled exactly like that, but I treated these 3.
Wow.
So yeah, we'll do
Drew, you want to inhale that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Drew.
Take a whiff.
Might make your hair change color, but oh my God, his hair is bleached.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So now we have some cool 80s books here that we've got.
Oh
so,
dude, these are classics. I
Yes.
remember these.
So yeah.
Never.
Insane.
Isn't that wild?
It is. And so this was a pretty short treatment. I didn't have to
Okay.
do these for too long. I did these for about an hour in this little bin that I had set up
Yeah.
with a hole in it. And so same thing that I would use for cars. I have a tube attachment to the machine,
Okay.
and it's got a little, something you might see behind a dryer. And so you would take the tube, you would run it into the vehicle. I did the same thing for this little box that I have. And then just let it run for about an hour. The hardest part was getting the pages to stay like fluffed open, which is why I noticed like you were really deep into the book. You might still smell a little bit of smoke right in the crease. Because it was really hard for me to be able to access that crease to get the book to stay open.
Gotcha.
So, which is another reason why when I do a service, whether it be a home or a car, whatever that may be, one of the things, so we send out a little checklist for the homeowner or the property owner to go through. One of the things on there is to make sure everything is open. Cupboards, drawers, closets, pantries. Yep. Everything is open. Fluff out your clothes in your closet because it only works on what it can reach.
Interesting.
If you've got something closed off, it's not gonna touch it.
Is one machine doing the whole house, or are you putting one machine in each room, or are you putting one machine on each floor?
So I would theoretically be putting one on each floor.
Okay.
So three of these can go up to 3,000 square feet. Is what it can.
So 1,000 per.
So about 1,000 per. Yep. Okay. So I would likely, even if I was doing, a 2,000 square foot home, I would probably bring 3 anyway. Okay. Because the more I have, the faster it happens.
Gotcha.
So I would probably bring all 3, maybe set up 2 on a main floor, and 1 up top if it's just a 2 floor.
Yeah.
And then let it do its thing and be able to knock out some of that time if I have all 3 machines on a smaller space.
The more O3, the better, man.
Yeah, the more ozone, the better.
All right.
All right.
Let's see if he switched it up on me. I think he did switch it up. Yeah, I think that's a smoke one.
Which one?
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons Manual of the Plains by Jeff Grubb.
Okay.
Shout out to Jeff Grubb. And then, let's see about this one. No, wait a minute. Might they be both? Are you trying to pull a trick on me? This is definitely smoked.
Okay.
All right. So, the one by Tracy Hickman and Margaret Weiss. Maybe I'm smelling that binding. I feel like this one is definitely smoked in. This might have been treated. Or you're trying to throw me a ringer. I'm not 100% sure.
I will say that one is definitely treated. This one, I had the hardest time getting those pages to stay apart.
Yeah.
And so there is definitely a little bit of a residual smell in there that once you really open the book up, it comes out from in here. I think also I noticed that these 80s pages, something about them, because you can feel there's a different page feeling here. Whereas these had kind of like a waxy cover.
Okay.
I don't know if like this one just needed to go longer because it was so ingrained inside the paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely smell it less in this one. I will say, maybe this one would have gotten a second treatment if I were doing it for real.
Oh, I'm sorry. So, were you saying something? I'm actually reading it right now. Yeah. This is so interesting.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Not at all. All right.
So this is the final 2.
Okay.
These ones, more I guess the paperback, magazine feeling to them. But that one might fall apart on you. The binding itself, it's not held together too well. So
okay.
This one I thought was super interesting. I know we're not here to talk about Dungeons and Dragons, but that page that he's got right now, that paper that he's got, that is the character.
This actually smells good.
It does, right?
This smells good.
Yep. So that's the one that was treated, obviously. That one turned out really well. That one is the character sheets that they would use to play. And I know that means nothing. It's irrelevant. But this is what they would fill out to play the game. They would write on it. Yeah. There is not a single page in this book that's written in, which is wild to me. Good luck finding a book that you're supposed to write in from the 80s that's not written in.
Right.
So, yeah, that was a really exciting purchase.
Your character is Jacourd Hun.
Yeah.
He's a level 2 or 3, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Class M/T.
I will say I don't understand how the 80s one worked. There's so many different rules to that. So, yeah. I think when we get together and play sometime on the podcast here, I think that'd be a ton of fun.
Man, that would be exciting.
I'd love it.
Shout out to Lindsay.
Yeah, she plays.
Oh my Lord, dude, she's a keeper, man. She's a keeper. How about Caden? And
he does. I have a little clip on my YouTube channel of him. You can hear him in the background. I haven't put him on video, but you can hear him in the background, and he was loving it. He's so fun.
Oh, that's cute kids.
Yeah,
don't damage them.
I'm trying not to.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about the background of the business.
Sure.
What's the greatest challenge that you're facing right now, starting a business?
Sure. Honestly, the greatest challenge is not knowing where I'm at in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, because I have a really, really good support system around me, which I will always talk about. I'm so lucky to have the people that are around me. I mean, even, you just happen to be helping me out, with information that I have questions on. Obviously, Dave Starlepper, shout out. He's going to be helping me out too. So over at First Home Mortgage, if you're wondering. And so there's a lot of friends and family that have said, hey, I think that, here's a good idea. Here's a good way that I can help you out over here. Okay. So there's a lot of things that are falling into place that can help, kind of push this out there and get it going. The question is, where am I at in the next week or 2 that makes it easier or harder for me to really tackle those things that they're recommending. I think that's one of the hardest parts. I think the other one is just kind of learning how this whole business thing works. So I'm asking a lot of questions to a lot of friends who have done this kind of thing. I've filed for the LLC paperwork, for instance, and I'm waiting for that to come in.
Yep.
And business insurance was a whole other realm I've never even considered. But I am insured officially.
Licensed and insured.
Yep, for Liberty Mutual.
Okay, there you
go. They insured me, so we're good there. That aspect of starting a business is a lot to understand when I've never thought about it before. So I think that's the biggest challenge. But other than that, it's just kind of getting the opportunity to go out and use it, try it, practice with it. So that's where I'm at.
I mean, I would strongly encourage you to, that we talked about Dungeons and Dragons in a laughing manner, but for real though, that you have been using video and social media as a way of putting content out there. The quality of what you're putting out there, if you match that to what you're doing with this and document the journey of what you're doing, so many people want to get behind people that are starting something new, and there's plenty of resources of people. You probably had somebody that you went to go get the insurance through. You talked about Dave, your future brother-in-law.
Congrats.
And how well connected he is, and how well I'm connected with like real estate agents and getting the word out with that. But you have an exceptional talent when it comes to content creation, and I would encourage you to take that, continue your magical Dungeons and Dragons, but then also using that talent to do this, because I feel in life that sometimes when and it's not necessarily that your door is closed, because hopefully your job's still going to be there, and when that shutdown of the government does get back into full swing and those contracts are renegotiated and all that you will be back. But sometimes the things that are bad that happen to us, as losing work or whatever, can sometimes be the best things that have ever happened to us. Because what if this government shutdown didn't happen? Are we sitting here right now talking about Odorless?
Not a chance.
Not a chance, right? So like you've definitely have the right mindset. You had the entrepreneurial mindset because you've done things in the past. You have that curiosity and willingness to want to figure things out. And because some people are just risk averse.
Sure.
They're just not willing to. They're scared of what they don't know.
Yeah.
And you're saying, I don't know, but I'm not scared to get after it and figure out the answers. You're not the first person to start a business, and you're not going to be the last one to start a business. Sure. Right?
And I tend to be risk averse. I don't tend to take that leap. I will say having a wife and kids also makes that a little hard, because you want to make sure that they're taken care of, and I'm in a position where, up until this furlough happened, I was in that position where they were taken care of. Our family was fine. Having, I guess, this opportunity, just like you're saying, I've thought about it a few times. Like, what if this is the first domino? What if this thing happening, the thing that kind of almost scared you out of other things, what if that happened? And now that caused this whole domino effect to, I don't know, take off. Yeah. So,
and you'll never truly be able to connect the why this happened until sometime in the future when you look back and you say, oh, holy crap. Now I understand why that happened. And maybe you're going to create this very successful business that's going to help a lot of people.
Sure.
And I'm a firm believer of, like, good things happen to good people, that if you're trying to bring value to people, that you're going to win in the long term.
Sure.
So the one thing that I would give you a suggestion on.
I'll take it all.
So I was a teacher. Your teacher. Was I your teacher?
I was never your teacher, but you guys always combined classes a lot of times.
Yeah. Certainly I was Lindsay's teacher. God, I remember that.
Sorry about that.
I'm just kidding.
Hi, Lindsay.
And her sister. Oh, my lordy. Just kidding again, Taylor. From transitioning from being a teacher to becoming a full-time real estate agent, there was a 3-year period where I was teaching, getting off at 2 o'clock, and then doing the real estate stuff. And I was very blessed and fortunate to have my dad partner with me through that time.
Sure.
But what was sacrificed a lot was the time that I spent with my wife and kids.
Sure.
Because it's like this weird conundrum of, you're doing these things. You're probably number one why is your 2 beautiful children and your beautiful wife.
Correct.
But yet you have to take time away from them to do this thing
to make sure they're all right.
to make sure that they are all right. And happiness is the most important thing.
Yeah.
But if they're not happy, so like there's this constant balance, and you just try to do your best.
Yeah.
So and you try to structure your time so that there's never balance in life.
Sure.
You're always going to be off balance, whether you're more focused on the family and less on the job, or more focused on the business and less on the family. But if you can structure that time to try to create as much balance as possible while giving yourself the grace of, this is not going to be perfect, and we're going to do our best. And you said you had a great support, and I had a great support with my wife. And even when I'm in full-time real estate now, there are times where the days are long, and I don't see my family all day long until the very end, and then and they're always coming and going. So it's challenging. Communicate through those challenges and try to block and reserve time so that you're not completely consumed on one. Because if you're completely consumed with the family and no time for business, the business is going to fail.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
If you're completely consumed with business, relationships break down over here.
Gonna have
that
issues.
ain't cool. So finding that kind of medium, but certainly the support of our wives really helps. And behind every good man's an even better woman, right?
I would agree. I would agree.
So,
to an extent.
We'll talk about that after we stop recording. So we want to get you in front of more real estate agents. I think that's obvious. Are there other people that we need to get you in front of to help you grow your business?
Sure. Yeah. So the primary audience, I would say, for sure, is the home seller, the home buyer, someone that you really need this gone, whether you just bought that home or you really want to sell the home and you need that scent gone. Yep. I would say that's probably the primary audience, with the exception of, I think that vehicles is another one, whether that be, used cars on a lot that, we want to get rid of the smell so we can sell it. Or people that rent out cars and they come back and it's not in the best state, and you got to get that scent out. So I would say that that's maybe another high priority audience
target.
And so that's probably the two big ones. Other areas include, businesses, office spaces, restaurants is another one. If you've got a bad food odor that you got to get rid of. And then just other small ones, people with maybe RVs and campers that maybe you've got a little bit of that mildew smell coming in over time. Or boats, maybe not just mildew from the moisture, but maybe like a fish smell. If you catch a lot of fish on there, hopefully you are. And so that's the primary targets, I think. And so, over time, I'm sure I'll find new ones. But I would say that if you own any of those spaces and you have an odor that you really, really want to get rid of, you've tried everything, maybe give this a shot.
Maybe home inspectors too. Somebody's buying a house, maybe they don't have that information of somebody, maybe their real estate agent doesn't know, but a home inspector says, this is not a big deal. This is what you can do. Call Brandon.
Yeah, I think that would be great because they're going into all these different homes one way or the other, and so they would know. And I think that could be a good someone who maybe outside the home that might smell it, something you don't, or something. If you smell it and you're like, oh, hey, can I make a recommendation?
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's a great idea.
Okay, cool.
So
here's a question that I like to ask when I have an old student in the in the podcast chair.
Great.
Okay, so you weren't expecting this one at all. You weren't expecting any of the questions, right?
No.
Yeah, right. Okay. So looking back on your education, okay, there's always that one teacher that automatically pops into your mind when you say, who's the teacher that made a significant difference in your life?
Okay. We talking just at high school, Bel Air High?
It could be high school, middle school, elementary school.
What about college?
You can go college too. You can go college too.
Got it.
But give me one high school.
I'll go high school.
One
then I'll go
high
college.
school and one college.
I'll go high school.
Yeah,
college.
yeah.
So
shout out to my friends back at the Bobcat Nation.
Back in Bel Air High School. So I always wanted to work with animals. That was actually my original dream. In one way or the other, I wanted to work with animals. And so I took Environmental Science 1. And then Environmental Science 2. Okay. And then I went back and took AP Environmental Science, which is actually kind of like a step backwards after 2. And the reason I did that was because I loved working with Mr. Heddleson. He was great.
Mr. Heddleson.
Yes.
Yep.
And
Glenn
so,
Heddleson.
he was awesome. And I think what really stuck out to me about him, he was so different than your average teacher, in my opinion. And I guess that's all of us environmental people. We're a little quirky here and there. He just was so... He loved what he teaches, and most teachers do, but in such an unconventional way. I mean, we had that greenhouse with the new high school out there, and he loved taking us out there, and he loved having us do projects that might not have necessarily been in some curriculum that he had to stick by, but something that really wanted to teach us what he wanted to teach us. And I think that was awesome. I really liked how he cared more for what we were learning than what he was having to teach. So shout out to Mr. Huddleston.
There you go.
I stuck with that environmental outside of high school. I'm sure he might like to know that. So I did get my degree in environmental studies. I went to Salisbury University, got my degree in environmental studies, the minor in biology. And so while I was there, I found another similar professor. Awesome. His name was Mr. Nelson. And he, same way. I mean, this man was shorts and a t-shirt every day. He just, I don't know. He just liked to make sure that you were learning what he thought was important, not what he felt he had to teach. And so I had some teacher like that the whole time from high school into college, and I thought that was great. Cool. So yeah, shout out to those two.
There you go,
awesome.
guys. Mr. Nelson and Mr. Huddleston, you guys rock, man. That's awesome. Yeah, that's huge.
Big shout out.
If people want to get involved or not involved, or maybe people do want to get involved in helping you out, but sure. But certainly you're going to need some business, and there's going to be people that need this business. Sure. I feel that you've definitely found a need that people need in this industry. How can people connect with you?
Sure. So I do have an official website. Finally, it's pretty close to finished. So it is odorlessco.com.
Okay.
Odorless was taken apparently.
Okay.
So odorlessco.com. So that's the website. I also have a Facebook that I just started putting together. It's pretty bare bones at the moment, but that is also Odorless Co. So you can find the Facebook page on there. And then, so on there you can find my email. You can find my phone number if you want to reach out. You're able to request quotes on there. Okay. Reach out with just any general questions. So the website's a great one to go to because not only can you find ways to reach out, but you can also find a lot of information that might help understand what it is will be happening in the home.
Sure.
And if you want, actually, I don't know if I ever talked about what exactly I would be setting up in your home and what would be happening. But
give me an example of what one can expect.
Sure. So let's say you've requested the service. I'm coming out today, but yesterday, hopefully, I would have had you submit that, what I mentioned earlier, that checklist for you to go through and just make sure that no one's going to be in the home, make sure that everything's open. Another thing that we put on there is to turn all your ceiling fans up instead of down. Ozone is heavier than regular air, so it wants to sink down. We do try to solve that during the service, but if you turn all your fans on the other way, it will suck that air up, and that helps out. So you go through the checklist, you submit it. I come the next day. I will have all the equipment, which right now is anywhere between 1 and 3 of these machines. Yep. And so I will walk through the house with you, make sure that, the things that you had to go through, maybe there's something you might have missed. There are some things that I'm going to go through and make sure that I have cleared on my end, make sure that the ventilation is on fan mode, so it's circulating through there. We'll go through, check everything out, make sure you're clear with anything. If there's any like plants or other organic materials, another one people don't think about is like oil paintings.
Interesting.
Oil is organic, it is carbon-based. And so I've never tried an oil painting yet to see what would happen, but my understanding from what I read online is it won't ruin the painting. It won't like blow it up or melt it. It will change the coloration. You'll get kind of like a yellowing on that painting. So we recommend you take things like that out of the home. All your fresh fruits and vegetables that you might leave out, those are going to react. They're going to kind of dry out. So if you don't want to ruin that, you want to remove that too. So I go through all these things with you while we're in the home, make sure that they're out or at least concealed. If you've got an airtight container that you can put them in, the ozone won't reach it. So we go through, make sure that's clear. I will bring in all the machines. I set them up on these stands that brings them up a little bit higher so that way they're not down low on the ground. As I mentioned, it's heavier. And then I have a bunch of box fans. Right now I have 8. And so we would just set them up throughout the home in ways that will push that air into places that might not normally be reached just blowing air around.
Right.
So we'll set them up, turn everything on, and then I have timers for the machines, anywhere from 2 to 8 hours, as I mentioned. Turn that on. We will leave the home. I have signs for every possible entrance to the house. Windows, doors, you name it. We're going to have it on there. Because even if someone were to try to come break into your house for whatever reason at that point, we don't want to hurt anybody. So,
maybe.
we don't want to hurt anybody. So at least if they come to break into a window, they'll see
Life
a sign.
has consequences, folks.
Yes.
You break into my house, you're going to get ozoned.
Yes, and it's a big old sign that says that.
Right.
So there's a big stop sign. It tells you what's going on in there, and it tells you what would happen. And realistically, the results might be minor. You would just feel a little bit of a respiratory issue if you were to go in. You probably wouldn't even notice it, to be honest. But worst case scenario, you could have respiratory issues. And so, we have all those signs up. I leave the house. I actually bought some of those master lock boxes that I know you real estate agents use.
We do.
So that way, if I need a key to the home, I'm not going to be taking your key. I'm going to be leaving it at the door with the little code that you'll get. So that way you can get it back too. Okay. But I'll leave that there, and then we leave the home vacated for the amount of time. And then, as I mentioned earlier, when I come back, I will open the door, ventilate everything outside. I'll turn all those fans out. The machines will already be off because they're on timers.
Yep.
Turn all the fans out, let them blow that air out. And then I have a little yellow NIST calibrated monitor that will check for the ozone levels in the house. And so long as that is down to 0, then you'll be able to go back in.
Fantastic.
And so that's the whole process.
Dude, it's like you've got a lot figured out, man.
I've just dove into this.
Yeah.
I've had a little extra time on my hands, but
so again, time well used, right?
Yeah. Now, luckily, work has been keeping me busy, but you know, outside of that, I've had a little extra time on my hands. So.
Okay, very cool, man.
Yeah,
very
looking forward to it.
Yeah,
looking forward to giving it a shot.
So we can put it up on the screen here. What's your phone number and email?
Sure. It is 443-686-1655 is the phone number. Okay. And the email is odorlessco@gmail.com.
Fantastic. Brandon, man, I wish you nothing but success.
Appreciate it, man.
Any way that I can help you out, I will certainly be sending you referrals your way.
Excellent.
Because there is a need for this, and like I said, I really haven't had too many people that have done this. So
sure,
you know,
not anywhere around here that I know of. At least.
Let's help out as many people as we can. And,
for sure.
You know,
and speaking of helping out, by the way, I do want to help out teachers, first responders, veterans, military. Reach out. I want to work with you guys. We love all of our heroes around here.
Absolutely.
You know, 10% off. If you're in any of those, reach out. It's yours.
It's a TMA discount.
Yeah. Use code TMA.
I love it. I love it.
And also, if you are a federal worker who has been impacted by this furlough, reach out. Same thing. You know, I want to help you guys out.
We got to help each other out, right? That's awesome. Look, please follow Brandon on all those social medias, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram at the Markland Advantage, as well as YouTube. We're growing on our YouTube channel. We're growing on our podcast channel. So if you're listening to this, you can watch us on YouTube. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can listen while you're in the car on Apple and Spotify. Lots of great stuff, lots of great people, lots of great stories, including Brandon Moore right here. Thanks you so much, man, for coming in. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Folks, live your life to the fullest, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Did you like this episode of the TMA Connection? Well, you might want to check this one out right here. Go ahead, click it.